to Update 20. This update adds in 6 new creatures and many new useful features. Starting off strong, this update adds in the Felifo. Felifo spawn exclusively in the Soul Sand Valley. They are neutral mobs that will target Wild with Spectro and repel Crit Prick. They can be tamed with Spectro bodies and set to follow or sit. These elusive creatures are quite useful during your adventures due to their ability to repel the undesirable Wild Crit Prick. Felifo can be bred using Spectro bodies. They will be the first creatures to have breeding exclusive variants, so stay tuned for those. Next up we have the Athulyth. These canonically marble owls can be built using quartz and an Athulyth mask, which can be obtained from wandering Jeff trades. Just stack 2 pillars, a chiseled quartz on top, and place the mask on the chiseled quartz facing south. Upon being built, an Athulyth will spawn auto-tamed. Their behavior is reminiscent of iron golems. They will not follow you, but they will protect you from anything you attack or that attacks you. For now, these owls do not spawn naturally. However, I am considering adding them to villages, or perhaps another, since that is where quartz is naturally located. Perhaps they can be broken prisoners of the piglins that the player can revive. Up next we have Sochuri. Sochuri are the first creatures to spawn exclusively in the caves. They are most abundant in dripstone caves, but they aren't exclusively found there. They are neutral and have a devastating fiery attack, similar to the Valkyros. Sochuri can be tamed with Uneath Blood or Sonarian berries. Upon being tamed, they can follow, sit, or be ridden. They will protect you with their lives and can be used as a sort of cannon if commanded to sit and attack. Hepatoa is a rather simple mob meant to replace the pig, should vanilla spawns be replaced by Sonarian creatures. They can spawn anywhere, but they always spawn alone. Hepatoa are neutral creatures. You'll risk being gored if you attack one. They have an attitude more akin to a wild boar than a pig. Hepatoa follow beetroots and can be bred using the same food. Turgits are mighty freshwater beasts that can spawn anywhere in the world as long as there is fresh water available and enough space. They are neutral mobs that spend most of their days basking and lazing around in the water. Unlike other predators that will give chase, turgits are slow and won't bother for too long. But they have a dangerous defensive poison that might take you out faster than they can. Turgit can be tamed with raw fish, but couldn't be bothered to follow you around. They will defend you though, if you are nearby and hurt. And finally, we have the Idrabark, by far the most complex mob on this list. Idrabark inhabit the temperate forests in large packs. They are neutral during the day and hostile at night, attacking every monster and player who strays too close. Idrabark are the first wild creatures to heal themselves without relying on magic, and have 2 means of attacking, and auto-breed. When an Idrabark's health gets too low, they will attempt to run towards the nearest Sonarian berry bushes. Upon approaching the bush, they will proceed to consume it, berries, leaves, and all. Each bush eaten increases their health by a certain amount. They can also consume sweet berries and carcasses, but they will prefer the Sonarian berries. Idrabark have their typical melee attacks, but can also spawn thorn traps under their attackers. These traps deal considerable damage and are difficult to walk through. They can be broken by hand, but it is best to use an axe. Auto-breeding occurs both in the wild and with befriended Idrabark. If their health is high enough and another Idrabark is nearby, they will attempt to breed. They have a 60% success rate and about a 6.5 minute cooldown. In the wild, auto-breeding will seldom occur, however players could use this to their advantage if they want live-in monster hunters. And another small thing about the Idrabark is that they have a chance to mount a nearby default peril. Idrabark can be befriended, but it is a process. Firstly, you must get their health below 6. When this happens, the Idrabark will begin to flee and circle back in an effort to dodge you and potentially find some food sources. During this vulnerable moment, the player can feed the Idrabark pumpkin pie to attempt befriending. Once successful, the Idrabark will cease attacking you and will go about its business. Now, however, they can be bartered with, and they will defend you if you are nearby and being attacked. To barter, you must offer them eggs, since they are canonically egg stealers. In return, you will be gifted food and trinkets. For the most part, befriended Idrabarks will go about their lives as normal and will rejoin their families if possible. Overall, though, taming an Idrabark would be much better if you just used the new Staff of Peace. The Staff of Peace was updated in this release. Instead of only working on predators and monsters, the staff will now auto-tame any tameable creature. It's simple and sweet. The fire base is a rare plant that spawns in the vanilla jungles. It not only looks funky, but it has a very real purpose. If this plant is near any of the listed creatures with an O next to their name, you can use it to harvest free ammo without having to go hunting. By constantly right-clicking the plant while it is near the creature, ammo will appear about every 6 seconds. It is tedious, but it beats endless hunting. As for null rock, you will just have to mine for its ammo. It's probably easier than shaking a plant over and over anyway. And be careful with the new null rock staff. It is the first staff that you have to charge like a bow and arrow. How far the ammo goes is determined based on how long you charge the staff. So if you make this mistake, there goes your base. You'll explode everything. No more will you have to deal with sinking, spiraling, and idled semi-aquatics. Semi-aquatics in all terrains will now dart around and jump out of the water. This means that creatures such as Meiju have just become a much bigger threat. Sonorite is a new overpowered ore added into the mod in an attempt to balance the player and the creatures. It is a process to obtain, but it is worth it in the end. With it, you will have a fairer shot at fighting the behemoths and wardens. Sonorite spawns at the deep slate level, but can be obtained through bartering. And lastly, some existing creatures were slightly tweaked. Valkyries are no longer hostile during the day. They become hostile at night, so this should make it easier for new players who have the misfortune of stumbling across this highly defensive herbivore. Undali have a small chance of spawning outside ruined nether portals. And lastly, the Illager's Caridian can now spawn during raids and in the wild alongside a group of Illager scouts. And in case you guys never knew this was in the mod, they do target you and villagers, so be careful. And that just about covers the major updates for this release. The next update has been voted for on the Discord server, and it will focus on the fossils. As of now, the only extinct creature in the mod is the Kabuti. However, I would like to add in 3 to 5 new extinct creatures, as well as a more in-depth mechanic for reviving the fossils. I haven't committed to an idea yet, but I was thinking of something along the lines of washing fossils, extracting DNA, and then giving that DNA either to a brood watcher or the closest living relative. In that case, for the Kabuti, the closest living relative would be the Shroud. After an undetermined amount of time, the host creature would either lay the extinct creature's spawn egg or birth the baby extinct creature. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and feel free to join the server to participate in polls, conversations, and more.